Have I got a treat for you guys? If you can't tell already, multiplayer EDH. I'm sure it's in the title. So, I meant to load up a new deck, but I accidentally had the wrong one selected. And let's jump to the mulligans. Oop, jumped a little bit. As you can tell by green, I'm playing Yisan the Wanderer Bard. There we go. So, you guys have seen my Yisan deck work. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. My opponents are Lazav, Dimir Mastermind, usually a mill-themed commander, Golgari, Lich Lord, Jarad, Jarad, however you choose to pronounce it. I think it's technically Jarad. Very potent Golgari commander. Typically, there'll be some combo with Lord of Extinction being thrown in our faces. And then Mazirek, Corral Death Priest, the new Edict commander. First time I've actually seen it played, because right after this was printed, Gitrog came out, and Mazirek got very much eclipsed by both Gitrog and Meren, whose commander deck he was the secondary commander to. But whenever a player sacrifices another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So very good, and you'll get to see him do some things. Very keepable hand. I don't have the mana dork, but that's okay. I have two of the best enchantments in green. Probably the two best enchantments. One that'll help me early game, and then this one, once I get the mana in play, survival can just win the game for me. I've made one addition to this deck. It doesn't come up. I have acquired a Concordant Crossroads. I saw they were lower for some reason, and decided to pick one up for a couple bucks. So, Concordant Crossroads is the all creatures gain haste world enchantment. Ooh, I draw my mana dork. Wonderful. Alright. So, I'm going to be skipping using the turn skip button a couple times just so I can get through the rounds in a reasonable amount of time. I don't think any of you want to sit here for a 25 to 30 minute video watching 4 players pass priority around. So, I'm going to be using this jump button a lot, and I'll talk about the rounds as they happen. So, I go with Llanowar Elves, and so Sapling Cluster is a basically world effect if anyone can pay 1, discard a card to get a 1/1. And Mesmeric Orb, not great for me. I don't think about it. I see afterwards that they're playing all graveyard decks, and I definitely don't tap out because I'm planning on unraveling it before his turn, but graveyard deck, so I should have done it on my own turn. It's okay. I do it on the end of his turn. He plays Ashling the Extinguisher. Pretty cool mono black. I think I might build her in paper as a janky deck. Just talking about Mesmeric Orb. Deals combat damage to player. Choose target creature that player controls. He or she sacrifices that creature. Pretty cool. Very rarely seen. Cool mono black, but definitely good in Mazirek. The issue is that it targets, so things like Hexproof Shroud can prevent Ashling from making you sacrifice the creature. So he plays a cycling land, foretelling that he is on the Life in the Loam build, and Zusa into a single land drop. That's fine. Alright, and he takes turn 3 off to play Worn Power Stone. Okay, so I definitely don't want to lose Yisan, so I have to keep Llanowar Elves up to block, because Yisan would block or be forced to sacrifice, so Llanowar Elves is going to play defense. Opponent goes with Mazirek and attacks Fat Guy Ted with the Ashling. And we comment in chat saying he could have attacked Sylph and got rid of Azusa, but Azusa is not really an issue, especially when he only played a single land. So it's not like Azusa is about to go crazy. Alright, so he plays Coffin Queen on his turn, and ships, very good reanimator effect, and 3 decks are all about milling, so Coffin Queen is going to do some work this game. Goes to Mage and fetches out his top, which he then plays. 1, 2, 3, 1. He has not used it yet. I pick up Heartwood. I decide with now time to play Sylvan Library, and you'll see this sticks for much longer than it should. Opponent goes. They do a pretty cool turn. So a lot happens. So let me talk through that. They cast Eldritch Evolution, sacrificing their Elves of Deep Shadow. Sorry, they play Blood Artist, cast Eldritch Evolution, sacrificing Elves of Deep Shadow. That goes and gets the Merciless Executioner. And now Merciless Executioner, we all sacrifice a creature. So 1, 2, 3. I use Yisan to go get my Boreal Druid, and then so that way I can sacrifice a tapped creature, so that way Ashling still can't come at me and get rid of Yisan. So I go get the Boreal Druid with the intent of blocking Ashling if it comes at me. Because he sacked for Eldritch Evolution, Merciless Executioner, there was 5 sacrifices that happened, so Mazirek puts 5 counters on each of his creatures. So Ashling's a 9/9, and Mazirek is a 7/7. Mazirek came at me in the air because I can't block it, and Ashling went at Sylph, and Sylph decided to throw Azusa under the bus rather than lose his Coffin Queen. And in response to the Merciless Executioner, he paid 1 mana, discarded a card to the Saproling cluster, and the card that he discarded was Sheoldred. So he sacrificed the Saproling that was created. So that's how he got to keep his Coffin Queen around, and now he has Coffin Queen Sheoldred. So let's jump forward some. So he's going to Coffin Queen now, which I don't fault him for. I think it's good to get it out. At the very least, at the end of Fat Guy's turn, so that way if it'll actually edict me, ideally. My plan right now is to Yisan to get the Tajuru Preserver, things that can't cause me to sacrifice, so that way I can start ignoring these 2 dex effects. And that's the end of his turn. Alright. And Sheoldred. And he taps out, plays Crux of Fate. And you know what? That's okay. It deals with most of the board. I have Sylvan Library in play from last turn, so I'm actually in a pretty good spot. Yisan didn't really cost me anything, so I'm going to Sylvan, see Harmonize Forest, put back the Harmonize, because I don't need it, and Sylvan Safekeeper. And I'm just going to replay Yisan. His deck's a little neutered because he lost so much. He burnt so much fuel doing all of that. So he plays Contagion Engine and puts 2 counters on Yisan. So next turn he can double a counter on Yisan. Next turn he can double proliferate and kill my commander if he wants. So he's gonna play. Sylph is gonna play a Signet, and then Eternal Witness, back his Coffin Queen, and he does not have enough. Would he have had enough? No, he would have been short anyway. So yeah, makes sense to play the Signet and get back Coffin Queen. So Sheoldred will likely be coming back sometime soon. And to turn this guy tops. God, I love top and I hate top. And he top draws, which was interesting to me. Plays Gilded Lotus and Siphoned Mine. So he's getting the top back. I'm throwing away this Ice Storm for sure. There's no reason for me to use it. Everyone has enough lands. It's not like I can screw one person out of the game. I could hit his Woodland Cemetery, cut him off black. I could likewise hit some of his black mana, but he has Lotus, so it's really not doing anything for me. It's strictly worse than my other 2 cards for sure. And we play top. So I see Harmonize, Forest, Sylvan Safekeeper. I'm going to pay 4 life this time, keep one of them. I'm going to float the Safekeeper on top, so that way I can choose to draw it or Yisan it away. And I go with the Storyteller. Everyone's hands are pretty low, except for Fat Guy Ted. And my idea with Storyteller is, at least Ted is going to have a lot of non-creatures in his deck. And there's chances that both of these decks have a high density of non-creature spells. Even though it prevents me from playing either of the cards in my hand, I want to start giving some cards out, otherwise Ted and I are going to just start hitting each other. And I don't think I can win the race against Ted by myself right now, or even if I do, I'll spend too many resources, and then I'll lose to Papa Bear and Sylph on the crack back, so to speak, because I could probably race Ted, but I can't race all 3 of them. By putting Heartwood Storyteller out, it brings these 2 back up into the game a little bit, and my hope is, I'm playing this group huggy card. You guys don't want to attack me. And it's going to make Papa Bear, Sylph, and Ted all attack each other or care more about each other. Especially with Storyteller coming down, it might mean Engine's not going to hit my board yet. So we'll see. Definitely makes me consider Melira Sylvok Outcast as a inclusion in Yisan. So he's going to untap, tap a bunch of mana, and Mazirek back down into play. Alright, so back up at 7. That's cool. Coffin Queen back down, and Deathrite Shaman. And it... Alright, so you guys know Deathrite, Coffin Queen's back. So we're expecting Sheldred on his next turn. He plays Nykthos. Here comes Lazav. Mind Funerals, the Big Papa Bear, and Heartwood Storyteller triggers. Everyone takes a draw. Total whiff. Reanimate's gone and Putrefy's gone, so that's pretty sweet. Talking about the whiff. Alright. He's going to top again. And Phantasmal Age of the Heartwood Storyteller. So clearly he likes this idea of Anthem draw as well. I'm not going to give it to him, though. I'm going to use on in my Career Ranger. And my thought here is, at the very least, I can use Career Ranger to get my Tajuru Preserver and my Elvish Archdruid, so that way I can have a ton of mana even though I'm bouncing Forest to do it. So I put some cards back with Sylvan, play Safekeeper, and ship it back with exactly 6 up, so that's enough to use both Yisan and Queer and Ranger to Yisan again. Alright, so he DTs. Did he? Nope, he just DT'd. Okay. Everyone's going to take some draw, the Glamour, and Thermokarst. So a card that I don't intend on playing ever, and the Glamour might be useful down the road. So if he taps out, it might be able to get rid of that engine, so that way I can't lose Yisan to it. Jump to the end of his turn. Don't bug. His replay was just working for me earlier. Alright. Sorry. Whoa, jumping a lot. Okay. Sorry, I just jumped through like 3 turns. Alright. So he DTs. Ghost Quarters the Nykthos. And then Rampant Growth. So that's what he did for his turn. This guy uses Coffin Queen, gets back Sheldred, plays a Sylvan, uses Deathrite to exile the Nykthos somewhere in there. This opponent used he sacrifices his Heartwood Storyteller, that was the Phantasmal Image, to Sheldred, and then plays Consecrated Sphinx and Mindcrank. So my turn, I had the option to go get, end of his turn, I had the option to go get the thing to prevent me from sacking, but really with Sea Sphinx in play, I don't want Storyteller around anymore. So I choose to not go get it and get Priest of Titania and Elvish Archdruid instead, to just go crazy with the amount of mana that I'm going to have. The amount of non-creatures that were cast was pretty high. Mindcrank and Sylvan Library. So DT, Rampant Growth, Sylvan Library with 2 Storytellers in play, and then Mindcrank with a single Storyteller. So I got to draw 7 cards off of that, and really I don't need anything else. Definitely not going to be using Sylvan with Sea Sphinx floating around. So we're going to throw the Storyteller away to Sheldred and make sure it's gone. Oop, got to click over here. Alright, and he chooses to copy it. What a monster. Sphinx lets him draw. I'm definitely not going Sylvan, but I draw Woodland Bellower. My god, was this an amazing draw. Prevents me from having to use Sylvan Library to do this. So, and this is what all of this mana is for. Keep in mind, Priest gives me 1 additional because Deathrite. So, I check my mana. Okay, so I Yisan to 4 to get Yeva Nature's Herald, and then I cast Seedborn Muse. Now I tap Archdruid for 4, 5, 6, play my Bellower. Bellower gets Fierce Empath. Fierce Empath gets Duplicate into my hand. Quirion Ranger untaps my Priest. Priest taps for 6 mana, and I cast Duplicate, getting rid of Consecrated Sphinx. And he floats 2 mana. I assume he has like some Trick Bind or some type effect, but he doesn't, and Sphinx just goes away. And there's this weird Moto bug where exile cards will just sit here on the side instead of being underneath the imprint, and I've only noticed this in multiplayer. I have not noticed this in regular yet. Alright, so no attacks. I have a Seaborn Muse in play. I discard lands, the Thermocart, Wild Growth, because I don't see myself ever casting that. Sheoldred gets rid of Mazirek. He plays Ancient Tomb, Mind Cranks himself, flips over it of the Horrid Swarm, and that will change what Lazav is to a 4/4. Plays Eternal Witness, gets back Demonic Tutor, casts Demonic Tutor, and just ships the turn. I'm like, okay, so he's keeping up Contagion Engine then. On the end of his turn, I definitely am going to be using Yisan. Get a 5. I'm going to get my Wrath Insurance of Whisperwood Elemental. I could get the Acidic Slime and blow up the engine, but I kind of think that might force his hand, and there's a chance that he doesn't use it, and I can keep getting Yisan activations. Alright. And then I deglamour the Gilded Lotus. So my plan currently is use this Chameleon Colossus with Azuri's Overrun to kill Sylph or Big Papa, and then try to get Yisan up to 8, because the way Quirion Ranger and Yisan interact is I can activate Yisan at 7, holding priority, then use Quirion Ranger in response to untap Yisan and then use him again, and that will get me 2 8s, and I can get Terracodon and the Persist Terracodon effect. Why can't I think of the name? So I can destroy 4 of his permanents, and I can completely cut him off of black mana. So that way he is out of the ability to cast Damnation for a while. But so that's my current plan, and then Chameleon Colossus can get in and kill Sylph, and then the other elves will be able to get in and knock down Big Papa Bear a lot. I'm most concerned about the deck with Cyclonic Rift because I have Whisperwood to protect the rest of my board. So Sheoldred gets back his Vengeful Pharaoh, which I thought was interesting. I fully expected him to get back Eternal Witness, and Eternal Witness back something else. But Pharaoh it is. I'm fine with him having all black creatures. So Jarad's Orders gets Lord of Extinction and Machias the Unhallowed. Lazav becomes Lord of Extinction, which is currently at 42/42, but it has no evasion, and that's totally okay with me. So he plays the Machias, that's fine. He doesn't really go in combat. He could have gotten in some damage. Sheoldred comes in at Big Papa Bear, because Papa's got 47 health. Although I think this is an incorrect attack. I'm clearly the threat here, it's just I don't have swamps. So it's possible to keep Sheoldred back. I don't know if this is correct, though, because you need Big Papa to help you kill me at this point. So he mills 7, and Lazav doesn't copy anything else, because what's better than a 49/49 now? And I'm going to Yisan for 6, get nothing, because I'm out of 6s. The only 2 in the deck are Duplicate and Woodland Bellower. Both are in play. And Quirion Ranger up to 7 to get my Regal Force. And my reason for this is I want Sheoldred to kill the Lazav Lord of Extinction. But with Sapling Cluster in play, Ted can use it in response to Sheoldred's trigger to make a 1/1 and then sack the 1/1 and have a 49/49. And I need this to be gone just in case he has some way to give it flying, give it trample, give it unblockable, something that prevents me from blocking it, because this is going to be the way that I lose the game, if anything. So I go for the Regal Force here. Unfortunately, I'm short of getting the Woodfall Primus or Terracodon. That's it. So that's okay. So I go for the Regal Force because I have a draw and I have Yeva in play. new addition to the deck, and I hit the Terrastin, but I also hit Beast Within, so that's going to be much more mana efficient. I'm going to tap out, Beast Within the cluster, make sure that the Sapling can't come into play, play Fendhorn, play Colossus, and I think I ship the turn after that. Yeah, I don't want to reveal Azuri. And Big Papa Bear taps 2 mana, and I want him to start tapping more and using Engine, and he plays Altar's Reap to sacrifice, was it Mazirek that he had in play? No, Eternal Witness, to draw 2 cards. And that's fine. Lazav gets a little bit bigger temporarily, but it's not going to matter. Sheoldred deals with the problem. Mirror Signet, that's fine. And I see him tapping mana, and he Cyclonic Rifts on his own turn. And man, I could not understand this. I do not think this was correct. It's instant speed. So I am, of course, going to respond. Float a bunch of mana. I'm going to Yisan up to 8 to get the Woodfall Primus. And blow up his tap blue land. Just hopefully he doesn't float it and counterspell for my Yeva. And he doesn't float anything, so I'm thinking, alright, great. So Coffin Queen goes on the stack. He's going to top in response, most likely so he can F8 immediately. I go with Yeva's Nature's Herald. He finishes topping, or play Priest, and I didn't even realize there was still stuff on the stack. I thought there was stuff, had moved to end step already when I saw my board light up. So Coffin Queen, and now I have the carte blanche to do a lot of things. So Chameleon Colossus comes down first. That's my best clock. Archdruid because it's the most mana. And I go back and forth. So I play Quirion Ranger. Now I have 3 left, so I could cast Azuri. But if Big Papa has a kill spell for Azuri, I'm in trouble. Also, it's probably better to put more elves into play that can attack, and put some protection to play with Sylvan Safekeeper, than just put it being the most mana efficient, so to speak. So I can put in this Fendhorn Elves and Safekeeper. It's the same amount of elves that are entering play, but this is a single elf, and this is a single elf. But this way I have protection if he has a kill spell for the cost of a measly land, and Azuri isn't exposed to anything that can kill him. So you see me tapping, untapping. I play the Safekeeper, and I play my elves. And you'll see on the side here, there we go. Yeah, alright, hidden. I don't think I'll use it. Oh, much better. He's so happy that the board is clear, and that is his prerogative to be happy about it, but it's not going to be clear for long. So, jump to my turn. I draw a Useless Cultivate, I play a land, Survival. So here I count up my mana and realize I have enough to actually do it if I can get it off. So I use Survival, pitch the Regal Force. I probably should have held on to the Regal Force and pitched something like the Primus or the Terrastodon. Probably the Terrastodon, because I don't need it at this point. And I go get Dosan, the Falling Leaf. And I tap, and I'm making sure that I'm able to cast Dosan, Survival again, get Eternal Witness back, the Seamer Sabertooth that was the first mill off Mesmeric Orb that's been sitting in my graveyard the entire game. To get back the Sabertooth, because I have Priest and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elves, which is exactly enough to start which is more than enough to start netting mana. You technically need 5 to do it, 6 if you have Swiftfoot Boots, only 5 if you have Greaves. Conveniently, I have both. And I come to the conclusion that I have just enough. Play the Dosan, Survival, and Eternal Witness. Or Eternal Witness back Team or Sabertooth. Pay some mana for Sabertooth. Sabertooth back Priest of Titania. Replay the Priest. Bounce a Forest with my Quirion Ranger to untap the Archdruid. Tap the Archdruid for the Greaves, and we're going to the races. So I'm going to click through this. It doesn't seem to be showing my clock, but so this is eating up my time. But now that I have Dosan in play, I know I have victory I just need to go through the motions. Big Papa Bear eventually says, let me know when it's my turn. I'm going for a drink or something. I'm making a sandwich. I'm not sure. So I start dumping some mana into Azuri right about here. I play a couple more elves just so I can increase the speed at which I go through this. Yep, so I start dumping mana into Azuri. Go up to 4. Dump some more mana into it. And at this point, we're talking about Sylph said you're giving everyone AIDS. And clearly, he's not a fan of infinite combos, but he does have Mikaeus. And, I mean, Jarad plus Lord of Extinction is a combo that ends the game. This is also a combo that ends the game, so if you're not a fan of infinite combos, I don't suggest playing online, or accept that they're a part of the game and learn that you shouldn't play around them. This game was really handed to me by Ted. I think if he had waited on the Cyclonic Rift until I moved into Combat Step, or I would have tried to resolve Dosan. Dosan would have been the in-response Cyclonic Rift. I float all of my mana, and then I use all of the mana that I had floating. Now that Dosan will resolve after the Cyclonic Rift, I'm protected. Use all of the mana that I have floating to try to dig to, or replay the elves and go off. I think I still would have been able to get there. It might have been more involved, but I get there. These two scoop when they see that I have it, and I attack. I had enough to kill everyone. Chameleon Colossus could kill the 40, and then 24 and 23 takes out 35, and 26 and 23 takes out 33. So overall, it was a good game. I was surprised that Ted gave me the game by Cyclonic Rifting, but I think his finger got a little itchy on the button. And then Big Papa decides to time out instead of just going to the combat step. So I hope you guys enjoyed the multiplayer game. I hope the video isn't too long, but I will see you guys in the next one. Alright, stop.